Hey everybody, this is Joe from the Middle Ground Mike. Wanted to talk a couple things. We've talked about RFK Jr. before, our HHS secretary, and some of the things he wants to do with our food supply to make sure we get healthier, or to at least attempt to. They announced today that by the end of 2026, they want to have 8 different petroleum-based synthetic dyes banned from the U.S. food supply. There's conflicting studies out there, but with our higher rates of autism and the Western world, and we seem to be more focused on artificial things here. I'm not a scientist, nor do I claim to be, but RFK is not wrong when he says when you look at the countries that don't have these issues as much as we do, a lot of things that they do differently are dyes. They don't have as much dyes, much preservatives necessarily. When I say preservatives, I'm talking like chemicals, right? A lot of those things aren't in their food compared to that they are here. It's a shame that we even have to have this discussion. But whether you think RFK is a little crazy or he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? At least we got somebody in there attempting to do something right with us. I'm somebody who's battled with weight loss my whole life. I don't blame anybody for that but myself. But a lot of the things that they put in our food are known things to make your brain like want more of it. So it's designed to get you to eat more of it. It's designed this way, right? Just like when you buy a car, it's designed to get you to want to buy it. Design when they come out new and get you to want to buy another one, right? So that's what that's part of what it is. Food's no different. So I think it's great that they're going to remove some of these petroleum-based dyes from the food supply. It's not saying that petroleum is necessarily bad because there's a lot of products that, we use for our health that are petroleum-based, but, cutting them out a little bit is good. And they just banned red dye number 3, which is crazy to me that red dye number 3 was just now banned from our food when it was banned from cosmetics, I believe, in 1990-ish, right in there. So because, your skin, things like that. So you tell me it was okay for them, but for the last 34 years, it was okay for me to eat? Come on. Let's be serious here, people. That's just a couple of the things, that he wants to do. Looking for the quote that I had from him here. Obviously he said, it's a 2-year timeline. So the end of 2026, from, a lot of it's going to be from candy to breakfast cereal, medication. The synthetic food dyes are what are getting phased out. And even here in this article, it says that the dyes are not the health effects of the dyes are not fully understood. We've been using these dyes for so long and we don't even know how they affect us. That's a problem. It's a big problem. It is a big problem. That's something that they're having us eat to make it more sellable for fillers, whichever, but they're selling it to us and we don't even know how it affects us. That's just crazy to me. It does say all the dyes have the potential to spark allergic reactions for a small minority of people or kids. Several dyes have been linked to hyperactivity and behavioral problems in children or have been shown to cause cancer in mice or rats. But none have been shown to cause cancer in humans. I mean, they may not have found that yet, but I mean, if it's causing, cancer in mice or rats, probably a good chance it's maybe not necessarily caused it, but definitely been a factor that pushed things over the edge for cancer. And, cancer is something near and dear to my heart. I've lost several family members to it. My dad died at 50 years old from it. So that stuff just, it matters, and I don't think it's wrong that we take a look at these things, I know there's this thing out there that RFK is this huge anti-vax guy. I know there's some vaccines he maybe thinks we can take out of being mandatory, but he doesn't think we should necessarily ban them. It should be something that's up to the parent. But he also says we need to spread the vaccine schedule out for little kids just a little bit more. I know someone who, obviously during COVID, so they kind of, delayed the vaccines a little bit for their daughter. And that young lady does not have a lot of the common issues that are affecting kids today. And over time, before she went to school, I believe she's 5 or 6 now, she now has all her vaccines and isn't having those issues. Right. But that doesn't necessarily mean, and I'm not saying autism does not cause or is not caused by vaccines, or that vaccines don't cause it. I'm not saying it do or doesn't. There's a lot of causation. I believe the other day I heard an article that said autism rate in the United States is now 1 in 28 or 1 in 24, and when in Europe they're 1 in 130, somewhere in that ballpark. So they're doing certain things differently than we are. In some countries there, the vaccine schedule is spread out a little bit more. And, these kids they're really young, right? Like, so they tell you in the hospital, if you're not mom or dad, don't kiss the baby because you can get them sick. So, there's all these viruses that people carry can make the baby sick and infants sick and kids that young sick. But you're telling me pumping them full of vaccines that have dead viruses or whatever in it can't harm them? But a kiss from grandma can kill them? Come on, let's use some common sense. There's a correlation to some degree there. The extent of it, I don't know. Don't proclaim to know, but I mean, let's all use some common sense with our own eyes. You can see it, right? And my 6-year-old is autistic, and when we were having him diagnosed, they weren't able to even really try to give me a clear picture of it's like mixed receptive expressive, and then essentially is level 2. They couldn't give me a picture of, hey, kids with this sometimes have these type of things, and I'm going, so you're telling me you can diagnose him, but you can't tell me what kids of this similar thing have going on. If you're going to diagnose somebody with something, obviously you can't give them an exact answer of what's going to happen, but you can give them an idea. You stress that, hey, this is what could happen. This is the direction we could go in. Well, my son still has, a little bit of issues talking and stuff in the potty training, but he's doing very well. He's in regular education. He does need a parent to help him sometimes. The potty training is still something we're working on. He's kind of aware of what's going on. His speech is getting there. I had speech delay. So did my brothers, but, he speaks a lot of phrases, but, like today he was telling me something, but he actually tried to describe it in a full sentence, which is something that he doesn't do very often. So to me, it was a very, very big deal for him. And this all kind of goes back to, the food dyes, right? So the food dyes can cause things. I mean, it's, that doesn't mean to me that anybody in particular anywhere had like this, this big, we want to make people sick, or, ooh, ha, 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 this evil laugh. No, I think at first it was probably like a thing like, hey, we can help maintain cost. We can make it more appealable to people. We can sell food, keep affordable food in people's houses. But at the same time, are we trading certain affordable foods in home for our health? Are we do we really need as much as we think we do? We probably don't. When you look at how we're supposed to eat, ideally, we have way too much food and things like that in our house. So that's just certain things that we do need to talk about and have those kind of conversations. So that's just kind of a quick update on that. Don't forget, coming up soon, I believe it will be this weekend, or, and I will drop another thing to announce it. We are going to be having that Toxic Masculinity podcast coming up. That is sure to be a good episode. Stay tuned. Look out for the preview. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on TikTok. Check out the podcast stuff on Buzzsprout for the Middle Ground Mic, or go to themiddlegroundmic.com. Help us move up the boards. I believe we're at 35,000 views on various videos on TikTok in the last month. While, I know some of the bigger fish out there, that's nothing. But from a guy who only had 5 followers a month ago, that's huge. I believe we're up to 871. I want to try to get to 1,000, but I wanted to by Sunday, but it didn't happen. So hopefully by the end of next week, or by the end of the month, I think that we can do this. Let's get these topics out there. Let's talk about it. And remember, be civil towards each other, because we are all in this together. We all occupy the same dirt. We're all in it together. Stop hating your neighbor because he thinks differently. It's not good for your health. It's not good for their health. And it's not good for anybody around you. That neighbor that you disagree with and that you may hate in a crazy situation may be the dude that gives you a bottle of water that saves your life. Don't forget that. All right. And again, don't forget to stay tuned for the post coming up. That's going to be coming up in the next couple of days for the Toxic Masculinity podcast. Talk to you then.